What's up, people? This is Tony T, aka Wicked Pisser, with his brother Mario working on a fucking Volkswagen Jetta S. The oil filter housing is leaking, and that's right up at the engine. And for some reason, these German assholes don't know how to design the car right where you can get at parts easier. So let me show you what we're looking at here. Flip this thing. How the fuck you flip this thing?
Right up through here.
I don't know how to flip it.
What was the part?
See this thing? Yeah, it's leaking. It's leaking pretty bad. But all this shit up in there, you kind of got to get out of your way. And to get at it from the top is a lot worse. So you don't even want to try to attempt it. But yeah, we're going to walk you through in a couple of steps here on what you need for tools. And we'll show you how to bash your knuckles and swear a lot. So hang in there. We're going to get rolling on this thing, start taking some parts off, and really give you a good idea on why you bring this shit to a mechanic, because this blows. So
I am a mechanic and this blows.
yeah, this is going to suck. So if you got kids around, you might want to not have them watch, because we're going to be doing some swearing, and yeah, the Germans are going to hate us after this one. We're going to be bashing them fuckers like there's no tomorrow. But all right, well, here goes nothing. We'll let you know how it goes. All right, so if you're doing an oil change and you want to know how to drain this filter housing, because these things don't have a regular filter, they got to do a stupid housing in there. They got right on the bottom of this thing, they got this little douchebag cap. You pull that cap off and there's a little nipple up in there.
Hang on a second. Get that out
So
of the way.
you see this little nipple right there? You want to push it up and kind of click it off to the side like that. And let that shit drain, so that way you're not wearing it all when you're laying under your car. That's the way to go. So keep that in mind, just doing a simple oil change. That's a good trick to know that they don't really tell you. But it comes in handy, so like I said, you don't saturate everything else around you when you go to pull that filter out.
Including your face if you're under it.
Yeah. And if you're using a shop light, don't burn your ass while you're using it, because it gets in the way pretty easy. But, yes, here we go. That thing is emptying out all right.
Chug a lug.
That crap coming out of here.
Nastiness.
Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to give you that little tidbit, because that's a pretty helpful hint. I made the mistake once of not doing that, and I'm talking from experience. Don't do that. Make sure you use the little nipples. Nipples are good.
Now
Everyone likes the nips. All right, and now we're gonna take off this front whole guard piece, top piece right here. You got screws here, screws there, screws there. They had a couple of Phillips head screws under here, right there and right there. Not necessarily sure the plate cover had to come off, but we got it out of the way to make sure nothing was right here. And there's these little clips here, and these little clips on the top. You want to push it that way to release whatever's on the inside right there. Get this bad boy to pop open. Yeah, like that. And it should pop right in. They got these little guys right here. Tabs that sit inside there. They all lock into these. Just be careful. If it doesn't seem to be coming, don't force it. Just let it do its thing, because you don't want to break any of that crap. Alright, we're trying to get as much daylight into what we got as possible here. There's a lot of screws. Just pay attention to what you got. They're like a T25 and a T30 screw to take out all these ones on the top. That's pretty much what this whole front end is, between a T25 and a T30. For some reason, they had to mix them all up and throw a couple Phillips heads in there. And some guys laugh and go, "Oh, they fuck with these people good, you know, fucking Germans," whatever they talk like. But if you're listening, fuck you, because you suck. Learn how to build a car better. They like built this shit around this motor. So if you're attempting this and you don't have the book like me, we're going to learn as you learn. So if you got the book, you might have one hand up on us. But we're going to find these freaking screws. We're going to pull them all out, and we're going to make fucking dreams happen here. All right. Here we go. All right. So as you can see, we had to remove the front bumper, which took a lot of fucking swearing. There were some screws all up under here. They were all Torx screws. They popped right out. Same thing on the front. Had a couple screws that screw in right here once the front came off. It wasn't actually too much shit holding that thing on there. A bunch of screws that were on the bottom where the shroud goes under here. Once those screws come off, that whole front bumper comes right off. But to get at what you're doing, you need to drain your radiator. You need to drain the radiator, which was a bitch. There's this little drain plug over there connected to a sensor. You pull that fucking thing out. See if I can get a good picture of it right here. This guy right here clips into this hose right up in here. Right here. This thing. The little retaining clip's the only thing that holds this whole thing in there. Pull that out, it starts pissing. So make sure you got a bucket under it. Make sure you're getting your shit collected. Don't want that on the ground. Essentially, we're going to take the whole nose off, which would be these bolts here. Same thing on the other side. It takes this whole front cluster off. You have to drain your air conditioner, which means you unscrew this guy down here. Get those clips out of the way.
Yeah.
So right down here, it's fucking hard to see on this thing. But right here, this guy unscrews, and there's like a bicycle pump hole in the corner on the top there. Wear a glove because that shit is cold. Take like a fat head #3 screwdriver or something, stick it down in there and push it down. Wait for it to stop hissing and it shoots some shit out. So keep your face away from it, keep everything away from there.
And stay well ventilated.
Stay well ventilated because you don't want to breathe that shit in. And it takes about a minute to empty. But as cloud comes out, your glove's going to turn white because it's going to freeze. That shit is cold for a reason. So give me a heads up and then keep the cap on there. Keep all your crap clean as you're working on it. You want to disconnect everything you can. Your headlights, everything you can get out of the way, you want to disconnect out of the way. So make sure you're collecting up all your screws, separating them, making sure everything's right where it's got to be. Because for whatever reason, I use all different sized forks. We've gone from T20 to T30 so far.
And now we're going into Allen's.
Now we're going into Allen wrenches. So we'll give you a heads up on sizes through this video. Make sure you got what you need. Make sure you got this stuff ahead of time because you don't want to take your shit apart and find out you got to go to the store and get something because it's not going to be a good time. I hope you got a bicycle and the shit's close because... yeah, no good.
No bueno.
I'll be back with some more. All right. Well, removing your front end, we got all the bolts and all the shit apart. You will have to remove your hood latch. These assholes suck. They fucking put bolts in. So there's 3 bolts in the front. Come right through here. This thing is actually inside this slot right here. And if you pull the bolts, you can actually slip this thing right out the top of the hole. And in the back... this stupid, see that thing right there?
And that goes in here.
That clips into that thing with a little clip.
And the ball rests in there.
So instead of trying to jam your fingers in there and fuck yourself up, slip that thing out the top of the hole and disconnect this little retaining clip. The ball pops out. Should hook into this little latchy thing right there and bam, bam. Fucking thing comes apart. You have to take that apart in order to get all that stuff out of there.
Back out.
So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull this cable.
Hold on, you're stuck there behind me.
I hung up on shit in here.
All right.
But you got to do that. And yeah, it took us a minute to figure out. And there's no good video that shows that without listening to some southern retard talk about it and doesn't know what he's talking about because he's working on a whole different car. So yeah, be careful what you watch on YouTube and other shit because some people don't know what they're talking about.
Flippy deal.
All right, so to take the front of this bumper off, you got to disconnect the whole latch system. After further research with this car, we find that you find this guy right here. You pop this little cap off. It's all located right under this thing here. And that ball thing just kind of pops in, separates the two. So you don't need to take out your whole latch system to get at that one thing. All you got to do is disconnect this little relay in between.
And now I'm going to pop this back on here so we don't lose it.
Because you will realize that the pieces that they have in there do not fit through the fucking hole that they provide for you. So,
all right,
yeah, there it is. So, don't try to take anything else apart. That'll do it right there. Just disconnect that bad boy and bam, bam. That shit should all go back together.
So now we get that
all
out of the way.
right, so now we managed to pull the front bumper off this beast. And you can actually see what we're looking at here. What we're trying to do is replace this bad boy that's leaking way up inside right there, which is hard to see with this thing, but you gotta still pull a couple hoses and shit, but this is the way to do it. Do not try to take it apart from the top or the bottom without, because then you gotta pull manifold off and all that crap, and yeah, you don't want to mess with that, and none of this crap here. These are easy to disconnect, these not so much. Pull out your hoses,
Get these slid
pull
back.
out some of the other crap here.
Come on, you.
That makes it so much easier. Because yeah, I probably would have cut half this engine apart with a Sawzall, and we'd be showing you how to scrap a car really easy. So yeah, take it from me. Take the front of the bumper off. It's actually not as bad as it looks. If you've got a Chilton, definitely get a Chilton for this thing. I don't have that option, so me and my brother Mario here are winging it, and we figured it out. Doesn't take much. Lots of clips. You got all the gazindas and all the gazadas. Just make sure they all go back in, and the gazundas are a whole other situation right there. But
Aziz light.
just be careful pulling all your shit apart.
Aziz light.
And then,
Thank you, Aziz.
all
Much
right,
better.
well, we're gonna keep rolling on this, and I will update you with some of the other bullshit.
Hey, guys.
All right, so got the front of the car off. Now we can see what we're getting at. You got some bolts here. Got one bolt right there. There's a bolt way in there. There's a bolt way up top there, and a fucking another bolt in there.
And now another one back in here.
And then
that's a
there's
pain
one
in the
down
ass.
in there, but that is a douche to get out. It's a fucking, it's loose, but trying to pull it out,
Well, this
it's
is a
might have
moment
to
of
come
truth.
out with the pot. So
So a moment of truth. Let's see if
we're
this
gonna
thing's
see
loose.
if.
Oh.
Ooh, look at
Oh.
that. Oh. There's still some coolant in there, so make sure you got something to catch that shit while it's hitting the ground, because
Well, I still have to disconnect the hose from the back of the oil cooler to get this out. So.
yeah, for whatever reason, they had some little Chinese kid put the rest of this together, because there's no way you're getting your hands inside that frickin' thing.
Nope.
So when it says assembled in China, you know why. Nobody else getting their damn hands in there, that's for sure. Labor's cheaper.
That's right.
Oh.
All right. So.
All right, so we're gonna do some more swearing and knuckle bashing and shit, and then
And we'll be back.
we'll get this part out and we'll show you what it looks like all fucked up. All right.
Go like that.
All right, so we got the old pot out.
Not yet.
We got the new pot going in. I just want to show you guys
Here, you know what?
this stupid fucking pump right here.
Okay, that's.
There's bolts. These little nuts go through this thing. Unscrew it, because taking the pot out, we were fighting wires, fighting everything. You don't got to pull this guy off. That's a bitch. It's got this little retaining thing there. We didn't want to fuck with that, so don't fuck with that if you don't have to. The hardest thing you're probably going to face going back in is a stupid hose in the back. Got to hook up to that stupid thing back there, but the whole unit's like in the way, so
It's a motherfucker.
yeah, you're going to bash your fingers and swear a little bit, and you know, but fucking the thing comes off, ought to go back on. But definitely undo this thing. This is like got some flex to it, whatever it is. And it,
It's your booster.
just get it out of there. Yeah, your booster's in the way, so get your booster out the way, and you gotta
Come on, get the booster out of the way. There we go. Speaking of which.
get that thing up and in.
All right.
Then give her a little twist the roux.
Some serious Jenga action going on in here.
Right?
Hang on, I got a hose that's stuck back there. That's the problem. When you
The
twist it.
stupid douchebag hose still in the
There you go.
way.
You get that out of the way.
Booster's in the way.
Now, the only thing-
Jamming it in.
jamming the hand in. Oh,
Yeah,
here we
so-
go.
Yeah,
Get
you
this
wanna try
hose
to
on there.
Slip that.
I need the long nose needle.
You're gonna want these fuckers right here.
These
Good
mammoth
tool to
jammers right
have
there.
doing this shit, because
Thank you.
trying to get in there sucks. Give you guys a little leg so you can see what he's doing in there. Yeah, trying to jam that stupid hose on there. Cocksucker.
Yeah, it is. To say the least. There's the Chinese kid with the little hands.
Yeah, for real. Fucking. They must have put this part on before they put the motor together, because this is stupid what you got to go through to get one of these parts.
Are you sure you don't want to do the water pump while we're in here?
I don't have the water pump. We ain't doing it. I will sell
This
the
is
car.
why you don't want to do a water pump on one of these. It's behind this.
You gotta do your water pump, sell your car. Fuck that thing.
That's right.
This is crazy.
Who needs them? Holy shit balls, that's on there tight.
Yep. So, spit on it, talk dirty to it, do whatever you gotta do to finagle that fucking thing in there and lube it up. Lube is good.
Now we're doing everything by feel, so. Lube and feel.
Feel it up, lube it up.
See what Daddy likes. All right. Now I can hold this out of the way with one bolt, please, right behind you.
Uno bolto, por favor. Let's grab one of these bad guys right there.
All right. We don't want to be careful not to jostle this thing around because of the gaskets in the back of it. We don't want to have to replace them again.
Yeah, when they send these things, the gasket's on it, but
kind of pressed.
It's kind of pressed in place, but you don't want it to come loose because you don't want to do this again.
All right, I can't see.
The trick is to shine it in his eyes so he can't see what he's doing, then everything goes back together better.
There you go. Now that I'm blinded properly.
Yeah. So if you're seeing spots, it's a good thing. Yeah, you got to kind of jam your hand up in the back there, and it's not too much.
Give it some love.
Two people can do. It's kind of a one-guy thing, but you need somebody kind of
a little kid with hands
aiming the lights and
you know what? I might have to take this bolt out to move it. Okay, you sit right there.
And if you're the guy that designed this, you're a fucking asshole, because
you know,
what the fuck? Can't just put a filter on? I mean, look at
they
Honda.
had an electrical engineer do all the mechanical work and vice versa.
Yeah.
Just to piss each other off in the trades.
At least the people with the Hondas bolt their shit right on the bottom. Bam, bam, you're in and out.
That's why you can bolt it right in and out. It's a Honda. There. So that. Here, you get smaller hands than I do.
All right. I'm gonna try to put this shit back on, but yeah, you get the gist of it. You gotta fuck with this thing, make it work, but it'll go in there. All right, so we got all our parts back together. Put everything back together the same way you took it apart. Enough said. One thing to remind you: this latch system. Make sure you lube the shit out of that thing. I took an Allen wrench that's the same size as this thing here. Just push it down in there. You want to set these pins. These are here to keep the pressure on it. Push it down in there, latch it, and pull the latch and make sure all your connections are good, because this stuff tends to bind up after a while. And we had closed the hood, had an issue with the hood wouldn't pop open, and after motherfucking the German some more and saying some shit, we figured it out. So this little thing here, pop right out like that. You can see in there, but unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot you can do from under this freaking thing. I seen where people cut out a hole right here and all sorts of shit. Doesn't work with this kind of latch. There's really nothing on the bottom that you're going to pull. Everything comes in through the side on this thing, and yeah, it's a bitch. So you got that connection. Make sure your connection that's in this thing is all good. Everything's on there. The ball's hooked, all that shit. Everything was hooked up good, but if you don't lube this thing up, you're gonna have some issues. All right, so just a reminder, make sure you lube everything up pretty good. Lube's good. You don't want it dry. They bitch when it's dry, so you know, spit on it, do whatever you gotta do, but make it happen. All right, other than that, put everything back together. Pretty sure we are good to go. No more leaks. We got our pot in there. Pressurized all our systems. Double check, make sure all your shit's good. One of these clips here, this guy right here, it's got some special internal little clip thing that pops off when you take it off. Make sure it goes back together, because that'll throw all your engine, your dash lights on. And it's a bitch, because you're going back through wondering what the fuck it did, and it just turned out being a stupid little clip. So pull on your plugs, make sure everything's got a little tension on them, make sure everything's latched in, And then you should be good to go. I don't see any oil leaking. All my fluids are up to par. Everything should be good. When you refill your coolant line, you need 2 jugs. Don't buy one. It feels like only one comes out, but you need 2. It takes like 1 1/4 jugs to make this thing happen. And make sure you use that G12 shit that they're asking for. It says it right on there. Don't just throw any type of stuff in there, as it will mess up your engine. So make sure you're getting the right fluids that your car calls for. Use the right engine oils. Don't go cheap on something like this, because something cheap is going to cost you a lot more in the end. So, yeah, this thing pops in. That's pretty much it. I think we got this thing. So from me and my brother Mario, we'll be back on some more videos showing you how to rip some more shit apart. All right?
Keep it real.
Guys like our show, subscribe to us, and we'll throw a couple more of these videos out there for you. All right. Other than that, everybody have a good night. Thanks for watching.